Okay, so I want to talk about how to advance to diamond rank. One of my favorite quotes is something that actually I have on my bulletin board here, but I wanted to add this too, is to create the highest, grandest vision possible for your life, because you become what you believe. And I truly believe this. Um, you know, it's hard to imagine. I think about my personal story, and I never thought, I'm not a 10-star diamond. I'm not a 15-star diamond, but I am definitely in a place now where I never thought I would be, knowing where I came from. And I remember a little over a year ago going crabbing with my husband, and we were sitting there on the dock, and we were talking about, so I'd been a coach for, a couple months by then. No, I'm sorry, that was the October before. So it'd been a couple of months when I was a coach, and I really had no idea to expect. I had no idea, I just knew I wanted to do this. I didn't know that I wanted to make it such a hardcore business. But that organically evolved. But I just do remember saying, hey, babe, wouldn't it be cool if I could just do this all the time and I could be a coach full time? And what if I had a great team? What if I was making, full-time income, and I could, help more with the family income and not have to be, skirting around town all the time and, worrying about clients and things like that. And he was like, that'd be great. And it was one of those big dreams that I had. I didn't know that I could get there, but once I started to say it more, and once I started to think about it more and dream about it more, then it definitely became something that became a reality. And with every milestone that I achieved, that became more and more realistic. So having that vision for yourself, and that's something we're going to talk a little bit more about, but having that vision for yourself is extremely important if you want to advance in rank. And the reason why I chose diamond is because, some of you aren't emerald yet, some of you are. But diamond is really that point in your business where you truly become a leader. That's when you have a team. To be a diamond, you need 8 coaches, 4 on one leg and 4 on the other. And that's when you truly have people looking up to you and you're starting to mentor people. And it's one thing when you start out as a coach and you are simply a coach to challengers. But once you become a diamond, you have a team now and you become that mentor. And so you kind of have a two-sided business on how to grow your team. In addition to how you continue to coach people. So it's really where you have proven yourself in the business, where you start to see amazing growth, financially and just in your business alone. And that's when I hit diamond. That's when I was kind of like, oh, this is happening. Like, this is good, and the team just started growing. So, the reason why I chose diamond, like I said, is because it's really, one of the biggest and most attainable goals. Emerald is fantastic, and that's when your business begins, in my opinion. But diamond is when it really starts to grow. So, okay. So my number one tip is I wanted to talk about giving, not getting. Putting 100% into people that you're working with, making sure that you are listening more than you are talking. So this kind of goes back to the story I told about, how I even came in contact with Marian. And, I could have thought, well, she's not going to give me, any success club points. So why would I want to let her in my group? And I think that's the wrong attitude to have. I think as we continue to give, things around us start to unfold. And, there's a lot of people that come to me and they say, I really need help, but I can't afford it. And there's ways that I choose to help them in the best way that I possibly can. And I know some of those situations have turned into future customers. They've also turned into situations where I simply just have a thank you for taking the time to talk to me. And I think that speaks of your character, as well as allows your business to have a pretty high respectly image as well. So if people know that you are that type of person and you truly are giving, because this job is about giving. You're giving yourself, you're giving your knowledge, you're giving your background, you're giving, your heart and soul into your challenge groups and your coaches and, your potential customers. And if we focus on if we focus on giving, not getting, it's going to pay you back in triple gazillion amounts. Because of what you put into it. And people will know that you are the right type of coach that people truly want to work with. And you're not just in it to sell. You're not in it for money. And, This quote really struck me too, is we make a living by what we get, but we make a life by what we give. And I truly think that's amazing, because we can make money if we just simply focused on Success Club points and we just focused on, the income we're making. Sure, we can live, we can pay our bills, we can do that. But once you start giving your heart, that's when I feel like this turns into more than a job. And that's why I feel so blessed to have this job, because I truly love what I do. It's not just about the money. Do I love making a great income doing what I love? Absolutely. And that's okay. You shouldn't feel guilty by that. But our income is a direct reflection on how many people we help. And I think that's just a beautiful thing to keep in mind, is the giving, not getting. Number 2, have vision. And I kind of touched on this earlier. You really do need to, excuse me. Sorry, guys, I could hear cartoons in the background. Having vision for your business. And it's not just a vision for your business. It's not simply saying, I want to pay off debt, or I want to buy a new house, or I want to, be able to go on a vacation. That's a great vision to have. But what comes before that? You have to become that person that you envision living that life before that vision can actually unfold. And what I mean by that is, think about what is meaningful to you. When you think at the end of the day or the end of your life and you look back on the type of person you want to be, have you been that person? And are you able to actually live out the vision that you want by being that person? So if your vision is to have a simple life, and that means no debt, and being present in the moment, and being around your friends and your family, and not being stressed about a job or being stressed about money, you have to ask yourself, what are the qualities that I want to have to live out that vision? So if you think about what kind of person lives that way, like what kind of attitude do they have? Are they calm? Are they determined? Are they peaceful? Are they motivated? What are those qualities that you want to have in order to reach that vision? And you have to think, how can I have those qualities? And how do I want to live my life? If you think 10, 20 years down the road, you don't necessarily have to have a vision. If you're a little confused about your vision right now, that's okay. It's not going to come to you in just a magic moment. I think it did come to me in one moment on what I wanted to do. I think the vision that I have for my life and for my family has unfolded as I have been going through this business. But I truly remember the very moment where I decided I wanted to become a coach and I wanted to, give myself to this business. And that's okay if you haven't ever had that moment. And I think a lot of you probably have, because we're all very similar in that and why we coach. But thinking about how you want to live your life, whether you've had that moment or not, is something that it's important to have, because you can't have that vision without knowing where you want to go. And also, what does it take to be that kind of person? What does it take to be motivated? What does it take to be present in the moment? What kind of things do you need to put into your life? What kind of things do you need to learn? What kind of things, that you need to work on in order to be that kind of person, in order to live out that vision? And I think about, I was at the beach yesterday, and this is when it really hit me. Well, the beach, the river, but I was sitting with my kids and I thought, I want to be more present. I don't want to be worried about, money or this or that. And, we personally, just as a team, I can tell you guys, we're in a pretty good spot, financially, but there was a point that we weren't. And that was part of my vision, was knowing that I wanted to be able to take a vacation with my family. My husband works super long hours, and I literally get the real him every few months, because that's when he has time off. And he's either traveling the world or he's working 12-hour days. And I thought, I want him to be able to enjoy life more. I want us to not worry about money. I don't want him to have to work a job. I mean, he loves his job, but would he be happier if he got to, teach or golf a little more or spend more time with his kids? And so my vision was to be able to have that more simple life. And to be able to take a road trip or whatever as a family. And so I had to think about who I was at that time and what I needed to do to get to a point where I felt like I could see that vision and live out that vision. And so it's about writing down the qualities that you want to have in order to see your business grow. What do you need to do within yourself in order to see your vision move forward? Be patient and persistent. And Lord have mercy, trust me, I know this is hard. This is hard for me too. And I've had a lot of coaches say, what can I do to make my business go faster? And there are certain things that you can do in order to kickstart your business, but it's not going to happen overnight. It's just not. Some people have a little more success than others, and that's okay, but it's not going to be overnight because there's no need to hurry. I feel like if you are separating yourself and focusing 20% here and 20% there and 20% there, you probably aren't going to be able to build your business the way you want to until you can put 100% in. So don't put, I guess what I'm trying to say is don't put 100% in if it's not going to be quality work, is I guess is what I'm trying to say. And that comes back to no need to hurry. Because if you can be patient and persistent, then it will happen. If you are focused and you are, I like the term peaceful warrior. And that's kind of why I chose this picture. If you're calm and cool and collected, but you are strong and you are driven and you are motivated and you are very focused on what you're doing, it will happen. And that's where patience and persistence comes in. Because you know you're not giving up. You know whatever dream you have is going to happen. There's no way you are going to walk away from what your dream is. There's just no way. So it's just about slow and steady wins the race. Learn what you need to learn and be very consistent about that. Consistency is huge. I've said this a million times, but being consistent with your business is absolute must. Number 4, this is no secret, but the 3 vital behaviors. I posted something on our team page, I think it was Sunday night, about, if you get overwhelmed and what can you do to just put the brakes on and stop feeling so overwhelmed, because I know I get there, and I did. And it's an uncomfortable feeling because I know that I get caught up in what can I do? I need to do more. I need to be better. I need to be this. And I start to kind of freak out. And when it really comes down to it, you got to just take a deep breath and focus on those 3 vital behaviors. If you aren't inviting, if you aren't hearing enough no's, then you certainly aren't inviting enough. Inviting is the only way you're going to be able to grow your business. And that means inviting to the coaching opportunity. That means inviting to your challenge groups. You absolutely have to invite, or you're going to be sitting still, or you're just going to be basically a discount coach. And I don't think that's what a lot of you are looking for. So inviting, you absolutely have to invite. So going back to, how do I reach diamond rank? Invite, invite, invite. You can't not invite. Being proof of the product. If you went through your Facebook pages or your Instagram pages, would people know what you were doing? Now, that doesn't mean that every post you have has to have something to do with Shakeology or something to do with what workout you're doing. But would people understand what you're doing? Are you being proof of the product? Are you simply posting really fantastic motivational quotes? That's great. But how is that going to allow your business to grow? You need to be proof of the product. And that means sharing pictures of your progress. That means setting an example. That means, preaching or practicing what you're preaching. If you're inviting people to a challenge group, then yeah, you better be doing that yourself. There's no way around it. You got to be drinking your Shakeology, and you got to be working out, because people want to see that you can hold them accountable. And, one of the things that I thought about the other day was, when I feel stuck in my business and I feel like I just can't do anymore, and you don't want to just, right hook, right hook, right hook, and constantly give call to actions. You don't want to do that. When I feel stuck, I use that time to focus on myself, focus on my own personal transformation, because you are your brand. You are the proof of the product. So when you get to that point, push a little harder in your workouts, eat a little cleaner, do something that you can share some progress about. Work on yourself. And then, of course, our personal development. It sometimes just takes 10 to 15 minutes a day, and it could be a book, or it could be, an audio or a podcast, or, whatever you want to call it. Listening to, being here is a big deal. Listening to our national wake-up call. Personal development is huge. I would not be where I am now from, a year and a half ago to here without personal development. There's just no way. By listening to something or having something that's inspirational every single day of your life really pushes you big time. And I've been trying to post more videos for you guys in the team page, because I find so many that really touch me and that I truly love. And I think I'm hearing some good feedback from a lot of those. So make sure you are staying on top of your personal development. All right, branding yourself. So I picked a couple of pictures. Sorry, Lindsay, I didn't ask your permission, but here you are. So I wanted to talk about branding yourself, and I picked these 3 pictures because they spoke to me in terms of, how we're branding ourselves. And we've talked about this several times about, you are the brand, you are the coach. And I think a lot of you have, we've learned from trial and error in terms of what works and what doesn't. And when we post a picture of Shaun T or Autumn or whatever, it screams salesperson. But once you start to brand yourself, that's where you start to build those relationships. And you need to be able to, and I call them jabs. For those of you who read the book, you understand jabs means giving personal information in terms of letting people into your life and sharing your journey. But continue to jab on your page. So you see Lindsay's picture right up here with her boys. She did a great post today about why she does what she does. Why does she eat healthy? Why does she work out? And the reason she does is because her family, her 2 boys, she's a rock star mom, and she's setting an example for these kids. And that's huge for people to say, wow, she's a really good example. So I loved that example. And then in the middle here, we have Marion, who just took a picture of, working out with her, not with her dog, but, saying her dog was her biggest cheerleader. So she's, and in this post, she mentioned where she found her dog. And I know that sounds kind of silly, like who would care where I found my dog? But it's sharing part of your life. You're branding yourself. You're making people feel like they get a little sneak peek into who you are. And that's what builds trust, is letting people see a little bit into your life. And that doesn't mean taking pictures of yourself in your underwear or posting pictures of you and your husband making out. But that means letting people see a little bit about who you are, and that, you're a real person and you have your own challenges and your own ups and downs. And then I put this picture here of myself only because I think it's important when we are advertising for certain groups, challenge groups, clean eating groups, that we associate ourselves with them rather than just a generic picture. And I myself have learned trial and error from this too. I get more positive feedback when I put my face on things, because again, that's me branding myself. So not only do I have my team name there, but I have what the group is. I have people can get a pretty good idea about what we're doing between the title and the picture. And then there's me. This is my group. I'm owning this group. So, we've talked a million times about branding yourself, but it is so incredibly important for people to know who you are and for you to build that trust, not only for people who might want to be on your team at some point, but for people who really they need someone that can hold them accountable, someone they can trust, someone they can identify with. And that's why we share parts of our life. Learn from the best. We've talked about this a little bit too, but this is so important. Don't reinvent the wheel. Learn from the top coaches. There are so many incredible coaches out there. If you don't know who they are, you can find out. You can Google them. You can go to the Coach Online office, but look for the top coaches. Because a lot of the systems that they have, a lot of the way that they train their team is out there. We all have access to the same resources. A lot of the stuff that I do with our group and a lot of things that I do in my business, I learned from them. And don't just wait for me to hand you the information. Go out and be that information seeker. Go out, watch some YouTube videos, see what Melanie Mitro does, or Anita Myron, or there's a million of them. Scotty Hobbs. There's so many really fantastic coaches that do amazing things. And if you don't identify with one, great, find another one. But there's so many good tips that I know I learned from them as well. That I wouldn't have found had I not looked into their trainings. And I know every coach learns from each other, and it's okay. We're all part of this business together, and there's no reason to reinvent the wheel. do what works and don't waste your time trying to reinvent that wheel, because there really is no secret to success. It's just hard work, you guys. You know what to do. We've talked about a lot of these things. It's just about putting in the work. It truly, truly is. It's about being proof of the product. It's about inviting. It's about, constantly wanting to learn and be that information seeker and not settling with what you have right now. And number 7 is be the coach that you want in your downline. And I love this idea because I thought about this before. And, think about, okay, who would I want to work with? Who do I want on my team? Like, who would be my ideal coach to work with? Make a list of who you want on your team. Not make a list of who, but the qualities that they have. Driven, motivated, fun, outgoing, passionate, hardworking. Whoever you want on your team and you want to surround yourself with and you want to be a part of this business with, then be that coach. You have the qualities there. Now be that coach. You have all the other steps in front of you. You know exactly what to do. It's just about putting the work in. You know the qualities that you want on your team. So then be those qualities. If you are lacking in some of those, then learn how to not lack in them. If you aren't driven, if you aren't self-motivated, great, set up a really good schedule so you don't have to reach and dig deeper for that. You have a schedule. You just follow your plan. If you're not creative, then learn how to use PicMonkey or learn how to make a video. There's things that you can totally learn. So, and I think a lot of these qualities that you guys already have, you really do. But just the idea of picturing your ideal coach and then placing those qualities within yourself is just a really kind of a cool little twist that I thought about. So. All right. So those are my tidbits for the night. I'm going to open up the floor and we can talk a little bit if you guys have any questions or if you just want to chat a little bit.
Crickets.
I have a question.
Yeah.
What are you using on your computer to add your pictures and your information and stuff like that?
PicMonkey.
What is it? PicMonkey?
Mm-hmm. PicMonkey.com, and it's totally free.
Okay, perfect. Thanks.
Anybody else? Any thoughts of tonight's call?
I was just going to say, one of the things like that I know we talk about Success Club a lot, and Reaching Success Club, and I'm only at 2 so far this month, but I mean, I kind of feel like I've helped, even though I don't have the 5 or 10, I have people that have bought programs to me just because they haven't bought Shakeology. But that's like my kind of, I try not to get down on myself. Okay, I'm only at 2 this month and I really want to get to 5 and I really am trying. But also I think about the people that I am helping that haven't bought challenge packs. And that's kind of how I compare. I don't want to compare myself to other people. I'm just working what I can do and putting as much effort as I can. And I mean, I talked to Marcel today on the phone. I was venting to her because one of my friends who bought a challenge pack from me months ago and has done 21 Fix invited her girlfriend to do it with us. And she did. And so she wants to do it. And she ended up buying from the Beachbody website because you can do the payment program, and then told all her friends about it. And so then they all bought from the Beachbody website and not me. And so now I have 5 people who want me to coach them, and they all bought it from Beachbody, and now they want me to switch them to be under me. And so anyway, it was kind of a disaster. And so I was kind of talking to Marcel about it and venting, but you know what, I'm just taking it as a really great opportunity that I'm helping 5 people this month. And I didn't know those people before today. And now I'm, and actually one of them ended up buying it from me too, which I did. I thought she had bought it from them and she didn't. And she bought it from my website. And so I just got to, checked it this afternoon and she had put in an order. So there's one thing. So I'm just, talking about being positive and really focusing on, I know a lot of people, maybe they don't have 0 Success Club so far, but you are helping people. No matter what, even if they don't buy the challenge pack.
Yeah, that's a good point. And one thing I forgot to actually put in my Super Sly slideshow, another tip is you have to run challenge groups. You absolutely have to run challenge groups because you're inviting, right? That's our 3 vital behaviors. Where are you going to put the people you invite? Like, you can't grow your business. You can't help people without having a challenge group. So if you're, if this has ever been you where you're like, I'm stuck, I'm not doing anything, I'm not, my business isn't growing. Well, you got to start inviting more. You got to do a challenge group, because one, if you have that challenge group, then you're going to be able to, earn a little bit of money and help those people. And then those people might turn into coaches, and that just keeps kind of folding over. You absolutely have to have challenge groups in order to grow your business. There's no question about it.
Well, you can co-host too. That's why I was, if the new people, I only have 1 or 2 people, like Gloria, she's not on the call, but we co-hosted a 21-day fix group, and now we're going to co-host another one, and she has like 2 and I have 2, and it works out perfect. So yeah.
I think that's a great idea. It adds, because it does get kind of lonely sometimes when it's just you and 2 other people, and sometimes those people don't participate. There's no reason why you can't co-host, as long as both coaches are participating and you've talked beforehand about, I'll post, every other day, that kind of thing, so you're not overwhelming everybody with 4 posts from every person. There's no reason why you can't co-host. I think it's a fantastic idea. I do it all the time. So. That's my dog.
And my dog is freaking out now. It's funny.
Any other thoughts on tonight's call, or any questions or anything?
Well, I really like the idea of doing the free, or, like the challenge groups, the free ones. I think it's a good way to connect. Or I'm just kind of struggling to try to come up with what I want to do. Because I want to do another challenge group starting in March, but I also want to offer some sort of free one. And I liked the 5-day one. I just don't know if I can set one up necessarily. So I'm kind of.
What do you mean you can't set one up?
Well, I can. I don't know exactly. Like, I guess it's out of the comfort, which is a good thing. But I don't. I'm just a little.
Just running one on your own?
Knowing what to do for the, like, how to do the free one. I don't know why I'm struggling with it a little bit, but I'm not really struggling, just kind of trying to think of how I want to do that. So that's kind of my next focus, is figuring out if I want to do like a workout one, if I want to do the 5-day clean eating one. It's more just a thought, not really a question, I guess. But.
Yeah. Well, and that goes back to when I said you have to run challenge groups. I mean the free ones too, because that's how you build a network. That's how you get people involved in what you're doing. And that's how you show them, for some people that may not think, oh, there's no way that I could get started on my journey. It's just too hard. There's no way I can lose weight. It's impossible. But if you show them a small snippet of what it means to focus and to have the support, then they might, when they're done, feel like, oh my gosh, I did this, and I did lose some weight and I do feel better. What else can I do? And so I think the free ones are great for many reasons, because it shows people that we truly are here to help, but it also allows us to build new contacts. I think it's a fantastic idea. And I'm probably going to be doing the clean eating one for quite some time, because it's the one that makes the most impact on people, in my opinion, because not only am I offering a meal plan, but I'm also offering exercises. So it's like a little mini 21-day fix.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Well, it's hard for me because I'm vegetarian, and I know I can make a meal plan for people that aren't, but it is harder for me because I don't eat that way. And so I don't.
Well, why do you have to, you don't have to do the meal plan.
Yeah. I've been trying to think of more like workout kind of things to do, and more, maybe just have them focus more on the clean eating and stuff. So
you can do like a spring into spring fitness, spring coming up. If you go on Pinterest and look up like arm challenge, because like a tank top arm challenge or something. I've done those. Like at the very beginning, all I did was free challenge groups because I didn't have anybody. So, you can make up funny names for little challenge groups, because, what spring's coming, everybody's going to want to wear short, or, tank tops and stuff. And then you do three exercises a day, and that's it. It's really, and they're already there. You don't have to put too much brain power into it.
Things.
Yeah. I will say Lindsay was in one of was that the squat challenge, Lindsay?
Yeah. The ab squat challenge.
Lindsay was over a year ago, was in one of my free challenge groups. And now she's a coach.
Yep.
Yeah.
One thing that's really nice about the free groups is, can you guys hear me?
Yeah.
Okay. Because I've been getting a lot of rejections lately, which I saw the video and said, oh, that's a good thing. But they do provide me with positive feedback. Like, thank you for your help. You're doing a great job. I feel stronger. I planked for a minute, So I selfishly, it does feel really good to get that positive feedback when you hear, I'm not interested, I'm not ready to do the 21-day fix or whatever it is. But it kind of keeps me going.
That's good.
So
Yeah, I really like them. I just,
Morgan, you're awfully quiet. Any thoughts?
Sorry, I'm a little tired.
That's okay. Just making sure everyone's got a chance to say anything if they want to.
How often do you recommend that we do those free challenge groups?
Well, I have them on a calendar that I made that I do them once a month. And then I do them the first week of every month, because then it falls into being able to do a challenge group the middle of the month. And then possibly even another challenge group, another paid one at the very end of the month. So it allows you to transfer those people from the free challenge group into the mid-month challenge group.
Okay.
And the calendar's in the team page, in the files.
I'm trying to get organized here, working on it.
It's okay. There's a lot of information in a lot of different places, but just, you can always ask the team. You can ask me. So.
Perfect. Thanks.
Yeah.
I do have a question as far as branding. We've talked about it before. So I guess sometimes I get stuck because at this point I'm not in a position to just, quit and be a full-time coach from home. So I don't want to not talk about the fact that I do work, but I don't necessarily want to have it be a focus of the fact that I'm like not to the point where I could quit. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know how it's like when I read some of your stuff about how you were able to quit your job and all that kind of stuff, like I'm not to that point yet. So I don't know how much talking about my other job is. I mean, obviously you want to tell people what you do, but I guess that's like, I don't even know if I've ever said what I do on my page, which is kind of silly considering how much I work there. But I guess I'm kind of struggling with how much of that to share without it being distracting from the coaching part.
Right.
Does that make sense?
Well, you don't necessarily have to share about your job just because it works for me because I was able to quit my job. And so it is something that's important to me. It's a part of my story.
Right.
So maybe, what you do right now is not necessarily part of your story. Think about the way you live your life. You get up and I don't know, what time of day you work out. I'm assuming that you're doing your workouts, you're being proof of the product and all that. Like there's things that you can share about your life that don't have to be work related. Or if it is work related, it's not necessarily about what you do. It's about, sharing that you brought your lunch with you, showing that you're making healthy choices. When you think about your challengers and you're giving them advice on how to live a healthier life, you should already be doing that stuff.
Yeah.
Whatever you're advising other people to do in terms of living a healthier life, you should be already doing that. So whether that's meal planning, whether that's packing your lunch, that's skipping McDonald's, it's just show that you are living the life that you are encouraging. Okay. And it doesn't need to be anything, you don't have to overthink it. Say you have your lunch packed and you're in your car. Great. Show a picture. Hey, I've got my lunch packed. I'm going to avoid the bakery cart this morning because I brought my lunch or, something like that.
Yeah.
So I think when we talk about branding ourselves, I think we can all get to the point where we overthink it.
And I do it all the time. That's like the hardest thing for me.
Yeah, I understand that. But pretend like no one's watching. Pretend like you don't have an audience and just kind of document your life a little bit, and it just needs to be a very natural process. It doesn't even have to be everything that you do, that you show doesn't have to be about coaching. So right. I took a picture today, which was super dumb, but I was laughing at myself. I had just finished part of my workout and came back to my computer and I'd put my slippers back on and I came to shoot out some emails or something, talk to somebody. And then I was like, oh crap, I gotta pick up my kids. So I grabbed my keys and ran out the door. I was still wearing my slippers. You know, like it has nothing to do with coaching, but I took a picture because I was laughing at myself. It has nothing to do with my business. It just showed a little bit about about who I am and the silly things I do. And it's stuff like that. Like, just don't overthink it. Think about your life. What are you doing? You know? Right. I mean, if you're living in a box and you're not speaking to anyone your whole entire day, then yeah, you have a problem. But you're not. You know, you've got beautiful kids that you're setting an example for. You are living the healthy lifestyle. You are reading your personal development. Share that part of your life. Okay?
Yep.
Okay. Anyone else? All right. Okay. So I will, oops. Sorry, guys. I will go ahead and end the call for tonight if there's not any questions. But if you need anyone need to talk privately, feel free to reach out to me tonight. I'll be around for a little while. So, okay?
Thank you.
Okay. All right. Good night, guys.
Good night.